So on our just on the last video, I got cut off abruptly. So hopefully we can pick up more or less where we left off. So I was talking about getting to know your thinking. So be that as it may, one of the ways to actually fast track, and the reason why I mentioned the hypnotic, the auto hypnosis, and and I've been talking about the freestyle breath working or meditation or however you want to call it. What we can do. And this is something that I'd like to share from you. I picked this up from Charles Tebbetts. Now, Charles Tebbetts was a famous hypnotist in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then he learned from Roy Hunter, learned from him the parts therapy facilitation. And then Claudia Klein, the woman who actually owns and runs the South African Institute of Hypnosis Center here in South Africa, went across to study with Roy Hunter. And I've been very fortunate to be part of that facilitation process, and actually am now a certified parts therapy facilitator, which is astounding. The power of the modality is just it's amazing. So enough of that. Now going back to Charles Tebbetts, what he was speaking about, and it was fantastic. So a lot of you've heard of affirmations, and I'm sure most of you do affirmations, and you've got your dream charts and all those other things. So what you can do is from there, and do I say the word actually too much? I think I do, actually. And I actually do. And what you can do is, so take your affirmation, make sure there's a couple of things with affirmations that make them very, very worthwhile, because you're in training it into the subconscious mind. What you would do then is that positive present tense affirmations. I am loving the fact that money brings me so much freedom in my life. And then what you can do is with your affirmations. So what Charles Tebbetts says is that choose one particular subject that you'd like to work on. So don't be too general. Don't I want world peace. Be quite specific. And here's the thing about starting to do self-hypnosis is that you learn how to start putting yourself first. And when you're wanting to help people, if you're calm and you're coming from a place of centeredness and calm and your own personal sense of gratitude, way more effective in actually helping people. And what you can do then, so that's what I was saying. So affirmations, rewrite them in different languaging. So use very sensory rich language, like words like exciting and extravagant and wonderful, and feel centered and calm and balanced. So really use words that you wouldn't normally use in your everyday language. What that does is it engages the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is, hey, that's new. I'm listening to this. So write it out 3 times. Positive present tense. Make it sensory rich language that really sort of gets you going. Your creative juices flowing. And then once you've written it down 3 times, that's great. Okay, so then you've got it down on your paper. Then when you're going into your sitting or your meditation or your breath work, read your affirmations out loud 2 to 3 times with as much meaning and feeling as you possibly can. And once you've done that, and be in a place where it's quiet and it's calm and you've got control of your environment, then what you can do is that once you've got your affirmation, so for instance, when I talk to people, there's a word, when I talk to people about creating a symbol. So let's just say all your affirmations about being free, about feeling free and the freedom that you have and all those other things. If I then had to say to you, okay, so create an image or an icon that would represent all of that written information. So for instance, if you talk about freedom, the first thing that comes to mind for me is an eagle soaring up in the sky, very high up, and you know how you always see the wings tilting. So that's like in my mind right now. I can actually see that. Then what you would do is that once you've actually read your affirmations 2 to 3 times with as much meaning as you possibly can, spoken out loud, so there's a bit of vibration going on there. Create that image. So that would then be, let's just say it's about the freedom. Then that would be the eagle. So take the eagle, and as you're thinking about that, you use that eagle and drop that eagle into your subconscious mind. And that's the gateway. That's the gateway that signals to your subconscious that you're taking the essence of that and you're dropping it into your subconscious mind. Now, the whole thing is that then you will, as you're doing that, so I'm just getting myself into a comfortable, my normal sort of breathwork positioning, because I can actually feel myself starting to shift gears as I'm talking to you about this. As you do that, then start counting yourself in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And most people find it very comfortable to imagine a staircase or an elevator or a path winding down, or whatever it is that would actually work for you. But something that signifies that as your eyes close, something that signifies that you're going within. You really are going within. And what you're doing there is nothing other than, this is what flow is all about. So there's flow, and there's breath work, and there's meditation. You're shifting brainwave. You're actually shifting brainwave gears. So you're going from high beta to alpha to theta, and it's in that alpha theta state. And if you want to learn about the brainwave functionality, once again, go Google. There's some beautiful stuff. Look at Joe Dispenza, look at Bruce Lipton, look at Greg Braden. There's a lot of work about that. And it's really, really wonderful. So it's in that alpha theta. And alpha theta is where, when you're falling asleep at night, and just before you're about to go to sleep, you do that bouncy thing. That's alpha theta. Imagery starting to flow through the veil between the conscious and the subconscious mind, actually comes down a little bit, and then off you go. You're asleep. So what we're doing now is we're consciously shifting brain waves, and it's an everyday thing that we do. I mean, if you're tooling along in the car and you're not really thinking, and you're kind of daydreaming, and like, oh my goodness, how did I get here? That's hypnosis. That's really what you're doing. We're in and out of trance all of the time. So is this safe? Absolutely safe. So going back to what I was saying earlier about using the eagle to drop into your subconscious mind, once you're there, if you then once you're in your subconscious mind, then imagery is the language of the subconscious, imagination. So when we were children, and this is a serious invitation, use your creative imagination, and a lot of us, our powers of imagination have been dampened down by the continuous stress and pressure of work and living and children and all these other things. So if imagery, so you're using the ego to go into the subconscious, and then if you're trying to think about all that writing that you've done, you pull yourself back out, because you've got to actually, so written words and reciting something is a conscious function. So we want to move beyond the conscious function. Then once you've used that ego and you've counted yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I work with energies equal to or higher than myself. I'm guarded and guided from deep within. So choose something that you could use. And then once you're in, so for me, I know that I'm in trance, or in an altered state, which is flow, really, because you're shutting down the critical faculty of your mind. I get a tingly feeling on my forearms that's like quite specific, and every now and then, this is like my stuff. I mean, every now and then, what happens as well is that there's a tear that just forms and starts rolling down always on my right cheek, and then sometimes I get a snap. I get a snap in my jaw, and I know that my jaw wasn't open. So it's a signifying that I'm good and deep in a very comfortable trance. Then once we've done that, and you'll know it, you kind of get a real sense. And what's beautiful about this is that if you haven't had a meditation practice, this keeps your mind occupied enough that you're not trying to stop your brain from thinking, but you're creating an outcome. Sometimes in talking to people, they've kind of like got mixed up with their meditation or their breath work, and that they're trying to almost escape the life that they've created inadvertently. Most people create their lives inadvertently based on sort of how conditioned their thinking is. So what starts happening now is when you're using this form of creative self-hypnotic meditation, you start informing your life. Okay, so that's like a really sort of important thing to do, because then you start accessing things inside of you that have just been lying dormant. This is not going to give you new things. It's going to open things up so that you'll be able to actually do more with the dormant resources that are inside of you. Then what you would do, okay, so that was like a long sort of segue, but now going back to the story, then what you would do is that once you're in trance, then imagine how you would be. So let's just say freedom, you would want, so your version of freedom is actually walking on the beach. So then envision yourself and use all of your senses, use your imagination to create that space of how you are walking on the beach right here, right now, but in your imagination. So you get to feel the sand on your feet, get to hear the seagulls and the water, if this is your thing. Or you could be walking, so whatever it is, you could be walking in the mountains, you could be riding a horse, you could even be on your mountain bike. So, but just listen and see and feel and hear and get a sense of that. And the more you can begin to imagine how you want things to be, that starts becoming, then what starts happening is that you start shifting your brain's perceptual filters to start looking for that. Now, 9 times out of 10, these things exist as opportunities all around us. They really, really do. It's just that through stress and through sort of operating in high beta all the time, we become blinkered and we can't see the opportunity all around us. So this teaches us flexibility as well. Then once you've worked with that, and actually in however long you need, then say it is done. So it's actually there's a finality to it. It is done. And then do I have permission to bring this from my subconscious to my conscious mind, so that these things is not just something that it actually becomes part of your everyday. And then count yourself out. So if you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count yourself out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you come out, I feel balanced, I feel grounded. So set your intention for the day. I feel alive, I feel vital, I feel balanced, I feel grounded. And then look for those things. And in your day, watch out for the languaging that's starting to trip you up a little bit. And that's a whole story on itself. So enough of me. This has been quite a long video. Let me know if there's any questions. Please just post, send me or get hold of me, and I'll do my best to answer them. So have a fantastic day, fantastic, beautiful day, and wishing you a day of creativity and awesomeness. Bye.